Hey everyone! In this video we're going to talk about how my quest for the perfect multi-tool snowballed into this situation. So this summer I decided to get myself a proper multi-tool. And after a lot of obsessive research I settled on the Leatherman Surge. And I chose it because it's a fully featured tool that lets me do a ton of stuff. And there's two things that really make it stand out. The first is this bit holder. So this folds out and it holds these flattened two-sided bits. And these are great because they're so compact. So normally if I thought I might have to deal with a screw of some sort, I'd have to grab this whole set of driver bits. Now with Leatherman you can get this accessory and it has 42 different bits that you can grab, and they're super thin. Now this covers flathead, hex, Phillips, Torx. It also even has screwdrivers for eyeglasses. And I also picked up this extender from Leatherman, which just allows you to reach in more places, and you can even just pull it right off of the tool and use it almost like a micro screwdriver. And I also saw that people were picking up these 4-inch ratchets. And so these are the size of the tool, and they're really lightweight, and you can use the bits directly in it, and you can also put the extender in it and then put the bits in it. And this is so much more powerful and ergonomic. So now I'd mentioned that there is a second really key feature, and this is exclusive to the Surge and the real reason I bought it, and that is this blade holder. Now this right now has the standard saw attached to the blade holder, but this is designed to hold any T-Shank blades. So I have a bunch of these lying around from my jigsaw, and those will drop right into this tool. And it also comes with a really nice file, a diamond file, and a file on the edge. And what I did is I just grabbed two different kinds of metal blades. And so that's like having a teeny tiny hacksaw. It's very small, but it's great for getting through a bolt. And I also picked up some extra long, really burly wood blades, and these can move through a 2x4 no problem. They can move through a 3 or 4 inch branch no problem at all. And all these little blades slide into this holder that came with the Surge. So I knew in order to make the Surge as useful as possible, I needed to carry all these accessories with me. Now the Surge comes with a sheath, and this is what it is. And this has a Velcro closure, and it will actually very comfortably fit the Surge and both bit kits and the extra sheath that has the blades in it. So everything fits in there pretty nicely. It's a snug fit, but it definitely all goes in there. But the big downside is this has no extra pockets to hold my micro ratchet or the extender. So I went back to Amazon and I bought another sheath. And so this is the one that's designed for the Surge and other full-size tools. And you can see it has the pockets on the side, and I can put the extender in there and that fits really well. However, the micro ratchet is super loose on the other side. This is much better for a flashlight. So I was a little worried that was going to fall out. But I was really disappointed as I started loading this up. It has two compartments inside, and unfortunately, it's not as large as the included sheath. So even though this is designed for this scenario, it doesn't hold all these tools very well. You can just squeeze one bit kit and the blades in the back, and you can squeeze another one in the front, but forget about trying to snap it. I mean, you can do it with a ton of force, but it's really hard. And then getting the tools out is super uncomfortable as well. So yes, I could have upgraded to the extra large sheath, but you know, I was beginning to realize that this sheath really wasn't the solution. I have a deep carry clip for this thing, and so if I'm using it, I can throw the tool itself in my pocket. But really what I wanted to do is organize all the other accessories to make this tool as functional as possible. So once I stopped worrying about trying to strap this thing to my body in a sheath, and instead focused on what I actually used every day for tools, I began to realize that really I would want to have access to a set of sockets. And I know this sounds crazy for a pocket tool, but I am constantly tightening and loosening bolts. And when I looked around at the things that I work on, my ping pong table, my bikes, things like that, 10 to 19 millimeters are very common. And those all share the same 1/2 inch driver on them. So that's great. And for the smaller sockets that would normally require that I switch to a different adapter, I already had 4 of these in driver form, and they're just a little bit easier to work with and less likely to lose. So I have those, and between all of these, I think this will cover, say, 90-95% of the things I run into day to day. And so I can just take the bit extender, and any of these drivers will just slot right in there. And so that works super easy. And for any of the ones that are sockets, I just drop that into the adapter and then drop it into the bit kit. And you get some really good torque by opening up the Surge like a pistol style. And you can also just use these things directly in the Ratchet, either with the adapter or with the driver. For really hard to reach places, you can combine all these things together and really get in there. So together, all of these things make the Surge incredibly useful. But then the question is, what am I going to carry this thing in? It's obviously not going to fit in any typical pouch. And so one of the first things I thought about is some of these organizers. So Maxpedition has a whole bunch of different ones. This is the Micro. And when I bought this, I quickly realized that the Surge is just too chunky for something like this. So I spent days scouring Amazon trying to find some sort of a case that was about as long as the Surge and was pretty thick, say 2 inches thick. And what I ended up finding are camera bags for point and shoot cameras. These are made by Case Logic. There is 2 different sizes here. And I decided that this one on the left, which is smaller, is enough that it can fit all of these things in a really compact package. And it has a front zippered compartment with a little extra pocket, and then it just has this really large main compartment where the camera normally goes. So let's see how we can fit all these tools into this really tiny bag. So first of all, the sockets are fairly bulky. Obviously, that's why people don't carry them. So what I did is I nested a socket and then a driver and then another socket into a pretty tiny little package. And that allows me to take these and slide them into the front pocket of this bag. And once you get them all lined up in an organized way, they actually don't take up much space at all. They're certainly heavy, but they're pretty darn compact. I also threw in a small drill bit for starting holes, although I think the awl might work better. And then we can just take all of our other accessories, so the 2 sets of bit kits, the extra blades, the extender, the ratchet, you name it, and I just attached those with a piece of Velcro. I even threw in a little fire starter, so I have that on hand. So that piece of Velcro keeps that together as a big chunk, and then I can take that and place it right next to the Surge in the main compartment. So the Surge and all the accessories sit side by side in a really tidy way, and it's really easy to get things in and out, and so I really like how accessible everything is here. And this is what the camera case looks like fully loaded. So we'll unzip the main compartment here and you can see what the Surge and blades look like near each other and all the other accessories. The only tiny thing is that that wood blade is super long, so it just barely fits. So it's a little tricky to unzip, but otherwise it's very easy to get in here and pull the things out that you need and keep everything really organized. And here's a view of the front pocket. So we're going to unzip this and show you what all of the sockets look like when they're all packed in there, as well as the adapters. And I even made myself a little roll of duct tape because, hey, you know, that stuff saves the day most of the time when you're doing repairs. All right, so you're probably wondering, how heavy is this thing? So if I take and remove the socket, so it's just the Leatherman and the tools, it's 21 ounces. And if I put all of the sockets in there, it goes up to 32 ounces. So we're talking about 2 pounds of tools here. It is really, really dense. However, if I'm going and grabbing a bunch of tools to do a project, you can see that just the socket set weighs way more than all of these things. So I think for me, it's a pretty good deal weight-wise. And after using this for a while, I made 2 additions. One is this really tiny 3-foot long measuring tape, and the other is a pair of tweezers. Both of them have been super, super useful. All right, so that is it. That is my overview of my Leatherman Surge over-the-top toolkit. I hope this was useful. Maybe you'll find some things that you might want to use to accessorize your Leatherman. Thanks for watching.